I've taken command. Kilroy is still missing, life support is beginning to fail, and now I think the shields are on the fritz. I don't know who to trust anymore. Chai started acting weird, so we threw her into quarantine. Tomoko says she's fine, but he's lied before. They're all infected. All of them. I'm the only one who isn't compromised. I'm the only one I can trust. This is the game of Dark Moon, a game for 3 to 7 players that is about deception and Mars and aliens and infections and maybe some zombies. To set up this game, you will first disable 2 shields and disable 2 outposts. You will then shuffle the task deck and the event deck and assemble the status deck. Then, deal everyone out a character card and secretly give them their status card, as well as 2 red die, 2 black die, and their character shield. Then randomly determine the commander, and then the commander will draw 2 event cards and choose one of them to start the game. Starting with the commander, on your turn you will first retrieve your die, then perform an action, choose a task card, and then resolve that task card. Retrieving dice will allow you to refill your dice pool up to its dice pool limit. That's 4 at start, but could change throughout the game. A repair action will allow you to take damage off of your controls. To perform a repair action, you will roll up to 3 die and then submit one of those die. Once you submit a die, if it's a plus, you get to repair it. It's kind of awesome like that. If not, nothing happens. The other option you can take is to call a vote, to put somebody in quarantine or take somebody out. When you call a vote, you will put a die in your hand, or no die if you want to abstain, and then reveal it. When you reveal, if the majority is red, then that person will either go to quarantine or stay in quarantine if they're already there. If the majority is black, that will get somebody out of quarantine or keep them out of quarantine. To further events by yourself, you can choose to do a lone wolf action. A lone wolf, you'll roll up to 3 die and submit 2 of those die. If you submit them both as positive die, you gain an event cube and you have furthered the storyline. You may also choose to issue an order. That allows you to choose one player to gain 2 die or to take 2 actions. Your final action, which as a person who's of the non-infected team I hope you are not taking, is to reveal as infected. When you reveal as an infected player, you will perform an infected action as long as you're not in quarantine. That infected action is deadly. Super, super deadly. Oh my gosh. Then you get to roll your dice, and if they roll die really well and they get a positive number, they get to do that infected power again. What is... Gross. As an infected player, you will remove all of your character stuff, get an infected shield, and go down to 2 die. You'll also have your own set of infected powers you can take for your actions. As the infected player, you win if you take out the shields, destroy life support, or destroy all of the outpost abilities. Any one of those things will cause you to win, because you can't survive without life support, you need shields to save yourself from radiation, and if you can't contact the outside world, do you really think you're going to be okay? Once you've performed your action, you will then choose a task card by drawing 2 task cards and picking one of the 2. Task cards come in 2 forms, a malfunction card, which is pretty much the standard skill test, and an event card. Those event cards will allow you to further events, and they do some other stuff. They're special cards. Special! Once you've chosen your task card, you will resolve it, which means you will resolve the event, or if you are doing a malfunction, you will perform a skill test. Starting with the player whose turn it is, each player will choose whether they are participating in the task or not. If they are not participating in the task, they can take 2 die from the die pool and put it back into their pool to replenish some of their die things. Once everyone has determined whether they are participating or not, the player whose turn it is will start rolling their die. For those participating in the skill check, in turn order you will start rolling your dice to submit towards the task. You will roll the die behind your shield and submit at least 1 die. You can continue rolling until you decide to pass, but every time you roll you must still submit at least 1 die. Once everyone has submitted the die, you will add them up and check that difficulty level on your task card. If you have beat the difficulty level, you get an event cube! You get enough of those event cubes, you complete an event card. Once you complete an event card, you will resolve the event card for whatever effects happen, and the commander gets to draw 2 new event cards and choose one of those for the next event. If you completed the third event, you are now on the final event, and things are about to get really hard. You will pull out all the malfunction cards, formulate a new task deck of just malfunction cards, and then play as normal until you complete the final event. I make it sound so easy, don't I? It's not. Good luck. Have fun. Before I get to my top 3 tips, I want you to know that there are still some details in this game that I have not tackled. For the most part, this will get you up and running, but you are going to have to look into the details of how things break and all of that. I'm just giving you the high level. I'm just trying to hit the high points, folks. Here are my top 3 tips. Tip number 1, though dice rolls are private, as well as how many dice you have are private, it's important to openly communicate. If you only have 1 die left, you should not participate in that task action. Say you're out. Let the other team help pick up your slack and openly communicate what's going on, especially if you're not infected. If you are infected, lie. Tip number 2, if you're infected and you get issued an order and people are hot on your tail, reveal as infected during the issue order. It allows you to use your power as well as take an action in the middle of somebody's turn to do extra devastation. Tip number 3, and this is the tip that my team doesn't do enough: quarantine, quarantine, quarantine. It's important. These people need to get locked up. You can only trust yourself and hopefully some of your team members. Be willing to sacrifice the actions to call for a vote, because if you don't put them in quarantine, well, they're just gonna wreak havoc all over the place. So that's the game of Dark Moon. I really enjoy this game. It's a great heavy-handed deception game that still finishes fairly quickly. There's so much pacing to this that, I mean, it's just, you can't get bored. You really can't. You don't have any time to get bored because you're just trying to survive right out the gate. Let me know down below what some of your favorite deception games are. Are there some that you really enjoy playing? Before this, it was Battlestar Galactica, but
I'm the only one I can trust.